What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Hasbro Transformers 1 Studio Series Arachnid. This was sent to me by Dr. Diecast. Thanks for allowing me to take a look. I don't normally look at what I consider, Bayverse style figures on this channel, but he was interested in this character, so I decided to take a look. I also love the movie Transformers 1, so it does have a little bit of detail. You got some blue purplish eyes. Obviously she's a spider, so she's got 8 eyes on both sides. We got silver for the face, red for the stripes. Not a lot of paint detail down here. You got a little bit of like gray plastic. It's all gray plastic. Everything else except for what I just pointed out. So it's a little plain. She's pretty spindly, but that is the character. I had to look it up. This is the configuration of the back that they want, with these four facing downwards. They don't really provide instability. They're just kind of there. I guess they do a little bit, but they really just sit against the ground. I prefer to have these folded up for a less bulky look, but officially it should be down and onto the ground. But me personally, I think this looks a little better. More like a... but it does get a little unstable when you do that. Let's go over the articulation. Head can rotate up and down on a ball joint. A little bit side to side. Actually, pretty good side to side. And rotation around. Pretty good looking head sculpt. Shoulders return on a ball joint. Out to the side on a ball joint. Elbow ball joint allows rotation and 90-degree bend. Nothing really at the wrists. No waist rotation. Actually, now that I got the leg off, you can see there's nothing at the waist. Legs are on a ball joint, kick up to there, back to there, out to the side, almost nothing. If you get the thigh piece out of the way, you can get a little bit higher, but at what cost, right? Rotation at the knee. Then you can bend at the knee. I wish this was a little bit tighter. Initially, this one was tight, but this one was a little bit loose. And we have a ankle bend, I guess, forward and backward. So it's pretty weird articulation, to be honest, which is why they have those feet facing down and kind of holding her up, because that helps with a little bit with stability. So let's get those back down. As far as accessories, we just get the 2 blasters done in gray plastic with silver on the barrel. These can be used in 2 ways. You can put them on her arms on the side like that. Or if you want, you can put it in the hand. I think the side of the arm looks better, but your choice. You have something like this. And for some size comparisons, there it is next to the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. And I don't have the Hasbro transforming version of the Transformers 1 Optimus. So here it is with the Blockies Classic Class. So you can get a sense of the size of this figure. All right, now let's get Airachnid transformed into her helicopter jet mode. It's kind of a weird transformation. There's a lot of flipping around. More complex than you would think for a small figure like this. You can bring this up. Tab that in there. Open up the legs. You can see that there's a hideaway piece here. You're going to rotate on this hinge on the inside. And then bring this up and just leave this like this. All right, same with this one. Unpeg this. Rotate on this hinge. And then just leave it like that. On the outside, you're going to rotate this. Flip the... Don't pop the leg off the ball joint. Flip this out like that. And this will end up... Keep popping things off the ball joint. This will end up on the other side sitting like this. All right, same on this one. Rotate this around. Rotate this. And I keep popping this off the ball joint, but it's supposed to be sitting down like this. All right. Come to the chest. We'll open up this chest piece. We're going to unpeg the backpack. It's pegged in right here. You're going to lift up on this. This will clip into the back of her head. So bring the head down so it sits in a little cavity under the chest. You can tab this into the top of the head. This will come down. You can see there's a clip right here on the back of this gray piece that will go into her head and kind of lock this in. It's pretty secure. Rotate this around 180 degrees so it ends up the other way. We can straighten this up, straighten that up so it kind of makes a circle. Same on this one. Rotate this around, straighten that up, straighten that up. And it should end up like a circle. We're going to end up plugging these in on the inside. So get that tabbed in right here and right here. There we go. And don't close this up just yet because we got to put the helicopter blade in there. So you can lift this up, rotate this around 180 degrees, open this up so it becomes the rotor blade. This clips in right there. And then you can rotate these out. So they sit like this, bring this down. And then we can close this up around and make a circle out of it. It just tabs in right here. And sits like this. And if you can't spin the wheel, then just adjust it. But it should spin. All right, now we'll take care of this. These will rotate around. I'm just going to leave that off. It keeps falling off. We'll fold this up and in. Same on this. These are actually going to tab into each other. So you'll see there's a little tab right here. And back here as well. So you get both tabs in. And then on the inside, you'll see there's a little clip, which we're going to clip this tab in. So there's actually two tabs, one going up here, one going down here. And that really locks everything in. Let's bring this over and tab those two things in. Same on this one. Bring this over, tab it in. Now you can lock this in. And we've got our helicopter blade, part of it done. Not done though. We're going to come to here, pull the arms out on this reverse butterfly. Bring the arms back on these double hinges. For the forearms, we're going to come to here. And we want to rotate out these guns so that the hands end up underneath. Close that back up. And then same on this side. Open this up. Rotate the hand in. And then close up that tab. These will sit in like this. Make sure you lift them all the way up on those hinges. And you want this to clip in right here on the side. And back here, there's a tab as well. So clip that in place. Same on this one. Rotate here at the bottom. Bring this down and tab it in there. That is what it looks like. All right, these arms, there's actually a tab and a slot, and a tab and a slot on the other side. So these will clip into each other. But also, on the bottom, there's a tab that's going into a slot on here. So I'm going to attach these back on. And then go ahead and tab the arms together. And then tab them in on the bottom here. All right, there's Arachnid in ship mode. And personally, I think this looks horrible, but I guess it is semi-screen accurate. I think the thighs is what kind of throws it off for me. It just looks like an unfinished part of the ship. You do have this propeller blade that can spin back here. This does clean up so that you can kind of let it sit on these. Like that. So, I don't know. It's okay. You do have 2 sets of guns up here. You have these blades here. They're not really blades. It's just fixed, but looks like blades. Yeah, there you go for ship mode. Overall, I don't think this is very convincing or very well done, but does transform. And since they don't really have anything that makes sense, here it is with the Studio Series roller. So you can see the size of the vehicle. It is a smaller vehicle, deluxe class figure. But so final recommendations on the Hasbro Transformers Studio Series Arachnid. I'm not a huge fan of the character, but the figure itself is kind of unstable in robot mode. They tried to give you some extra stability with these little legs, but it's just, wonky the way the legs are. They're really thin. That is the character, but it also, could have been done a little bit better. The vehicle mode just doesn't really look like a vehicle, to be honest. It just looks like her kind of squished up into what could be thought of as a helicopter. So it looks okay. Weapons are not bad. It definitely needs some paint. It's missing quite a bit of paint. There's only on the head and these red pieces on the shoulders. Everything else is unpainted. So it does feel a little bit unfinished overall. But I think if you're collecting the Transformers 1 line from the Studio Series, I think you'll probably be happy with this in your collection just because it is pretty screen accurate. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Dr. Diecast. We'll see you next time.
TM Reviews. What's up, YouTube fans?